What the fuck is sales?
Don't worry, we got you.
My name is Jed Mahrle, founder of Practical Prospecting. I've been in sales for 7 years.
My name is Will. I've also sold some stuff once. And in this micro course and video, we're going to teach you all the basics of sales, what you might need to know before applying to a job if you're considering a role in sales, or if you've already gotten a job in sales and you're getting ready to start and you want to hit the ground running.
Or maybe you're not in sales, you're in marketing, customer success, you want to learn a little bit more about it, this is for you as well.
So first things first, Jed, what does it mean to be working in sales?
Talking to strangers, I think that's what it comes down to. It's like your job is to get interest from strangers, to learn more about your solution, your product, and learn more about their problems and their pain points. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
And ultimately, try and close business with them, which means they become a customer when they weren't before. That's the entire job of sales. Get people interested in your product and get them to buy your product. Anything beyond that can fall into the world of account management. We're going to be focusing on that first half, finding customers and getting to buy from you in the first place.
While B2C, car sales, you name it, has different types of job titles and job roles, we're going to be focusing specifically on B2B sales.
So the main titles you're going to see in B2B sales are as SDR, also known as a BDR. These two terms can be used interchangeably, but the main focus of this role is to book meetings with cold or inbound prospects.
BDR, SDR, your job is to engage cold, warm, or inbound prospects, and this is usually done through cold calling, LinkedIn messaging, emailing, video. Those are some of the standard channels, but ultimately your job is building prospecting lists, reaching out to those prospects across different channels with the end goal of booking meetings to talk about your solution.
You might also in this role get assigned leads from the marketing department or your sales management team. These leads can range from warm leads who've actually shown interest in your product to people who just kind of look like a fit and might be worth reaching out to. Not all leads are born equally. Some leads are going to be people who have actually requested time from you. Some people are going to be people who attended webinars or downloaded a resource, and others might just be good fit prospects who someone else has told you to reach out to.
So the main prospecting channels for how you're going to book meetings is number one, cold calling. So picking up the phone, whether that's through a dialer or through an actual phone, and reaching out to these strangers, these different leads, with the goal of obviously booking a meeting. Cold emailing, this can be done through one-off personalized emails or through sequences, so automated email campaigns. Some other channels that are worth considering are social channels, primarily LinkedIn, so sending connection requests, messages, commenting on their posts, things of that nature to get their attention. A couple other ones are direct mail, whether that be using some sort of gift card play that you're running, or sending actual cookies or brownies to the prospect's door in some cases. Or another one that you might want to consider is video as well. So video prospecting has become more and more popular over the last 5 to 10 years, and it's a great way to engage prospects in a more unique way, unlike the other channels.
All of this outreach can fall under the broad terms of prospecting, outreach, or outbound sales. So all of it, the main goal in B2B is to try and book a meeting with a prospect. At the bare minimum, that's going to be done through cold calling and cold emails. But as Jed mentioned, there are some other channels that people tend to use as well, especially more mature organizations. So first up, you might already have a job in sales. You might be starting a job in sales in a couple of weeks' time, or you might actually be looking for a job in sales. So Jed, how can you go about finding a job in sales in the first place?
Yeah, I think the first thing you want to keep in mind is that most entry-level sales roles, they're not looking for a ton of experience, right? We're talking about the BDR, SDR role. Primarily what they're looking for is soft skills, so willingness to learn, determination, being able to handle rejection, a good communicator. Those are some of the basic skills that people are looking for and vetting for in interviews. There's a couple ways to find these roles. Obviously, you can look for open job postings. Personally, I went through an SDR or tech sales boot camp. There's plenty of these. There's good ones, there's bad ones. That's a great way to kind of fast track and make sure that you're doing everything you need to do to get that job. It really all depends on the level of experience you already have. If you're brand new, a boot camp might be a good route. If you already have some experience in tech or horizontal roles, you might just be able to apply and kind of go through the normal motion.
Generally, at the entry level, you're going to be looking for one of those BDR or SDR jobs. So that's going to be the lower level, entry level sales jobs. A lot of these jobs do ask for like having a degree or past experience, but for the most part, if you bring some of the core skills, you should be able to get one of these roles. One of the better ways to get one of these positions is not only to apply for the jobs, but also network. LinkedIn's a great place to do this. So sure, apply for the role, but also then try and find the hiring manager, the sales manager who might be trying to recruit for that role, connect with them and try and strike up a conversation. This is gonna make you stand out over 90% of the other applicants. Generally, when you first get your sales job, the first thing you're gonna do is get some training. Now, this can vary in quality, but most of the time they're gonna be focused on teaching you the scripts, talk tracks, email templates that you're gonna be using. You're probably gonna learn a little bit about your product, the different personas, the people that you sell to, and also the problems and challenges that you can help those people solve. They might make you listen to some call recordings, look at some past success emails, but generally you're gonna get a lay of the land of the company and do all those other kind of cultural things like meet the team, know who your manager is, get to know them, and develop a bit of a plan so you can hit the ground running when they actually want you to start reaching out to customers.
Yeah, I'd say normally within the second week, you're gonna start actually doing some prospecting, so cold calling, cold emailing. Honestly, in my opinion, the goal should be to get to that as soon as possible, right? Best way to learn is to actually start cold calling, start emailing, start trying to talk to prospects. There's a lot of things you can read about or watch videos on, but ultimately nothing's gonna teach you better than actually getting on the phone, sending out emails, and interacting with prospects.
In any sales role, you're gonna have a quota. For entry-level sales roles like BDRs and SDRs, your quota is generally based on the number of qualified opportunities that you can book for your account executive team to then begin selling to and put into a sales cycle. A qualified lead is someone who meets a predetermined criteria for the account executive teams that might be based on their seniority, their ability to buy, their timeline, or if they're facing a problem or challenge that your team actually believe that you can help them solve. This is also how you're gonna end up getting paid in a sales role. So the more qualified opportunities that you can book for your sales team, the more commission that you'll make on your paycheck. Most sales roles, any sales role worth taking is gonna be split between a base salary and a commission payout. So that's going to depend on your ability to close deals or book qualified meetings if you're in one of those BDR or SDR roles.
So obviously within any sales role, quota is going to be the determination of your success and how good you're doing in that role. And normally when you start out in a sales role, you have a ramp period. Typically for like an SDR BDR role, that usually is 1 to 3 months in that range. And what ramp means is they've lowered your quota so you can ramp your way into being at that full quota mark. For speaking to the SDR BDR kind of entry-level sales role, pretty much always going to be based on the number of meetings you book. For SMB, so small business selling, that's typically going to be anywhere from 1 meeting a day to a meeting every other day, so a pretty decent volume of meetings. And then for enterprise or mid-market, it's usually lower volume because these are bigger companies and bigger deals. It might be anywhere from 5 to 10 meetings per month booked.
And let's talk about the elephant in the room. The big thing about sales roles is, unlike other departments like marketing, customer success, sales, you have to be mega accountable, which means if you don't hit your quota, you are more likely to be fired much quicker than someone who's underperforming in any other position in the company. Because the role in sales is so quantifiable, you're either hitting your quota or you're not, you can be expected to be held more accountable to these quotas that you're set. If you're under quota for a certain period of time, you might be let go immediately if you're in your probation period, or you might end up on a performance improvement plan where you're kind of almost on your way out, where you're gonna get let go because you're not hitting the numbers they expect you to. If you're not hitting your quota, a lot of the time you might end up on a performance improvement plan, or if you're in your probation period, you might just be let go straight away. Don't let this discourage you. Some quotas are unrealistic. What's really important is before you take a sales job, you do your research, you speak to reps at that company, you look on review sites like RepView and Glassdoor to see if that is a good company to work for. I actually find that the company you start your sales career in can make or break your career in sales in general.
So one of the most important parts in B2B sales is learning the sales technology that you're going to use. So there's typically 3 really important pieces of sales tech that you're going to want to learn. The first one is CRM, so customer relationship management. These are tools like Salesforce, HubSpot, those are 2 of the most popular ones. And those are tools for managing your customers or potential prospects that you want to reach out to. The second one is a sales engagement tool. Now these are particularly important for SDRs and BDRs. These are the systems that allow you to create campaigns of calling, LinkedIn messaging, or email automation. Those tools are pretty much what you're going to live in as an SDR or BDR because they are the tools that allow you to do your engagements at a faster rate. And the final one is data tools. So this is where you're going to scrape the phone numbers, the emails, the LinkedIn profiles of the prospects you want to reach out to. These are also really important to learn because, again, you can't make calls, you can't send emails if you don't have a list to begin with. These are the tools that are going to help you get to that. Those are the main 3 tools. There's plenty of other ones out there, but if you master those 3, you'll be in pretty good shape.
The complementary tools that you might get exposed to are things like dialers. So there are power dialers and parallel dialers that allow you to make more dials in a shorter period of time, or when one dial ends, you go straight to the next. This makes you more efficient when it comes to dialing. They can even automate the leaving of voicemails and that type of thing. There are also lots of AI tools coming into the space that promise to allow you to help personalize your emails, your calls, your list building a lot faster. There are also some more niche tools, like tools that allow you to record prospecting videos to send to your customers. Some reps excel at that, others don't find it fits their style. Now, most people, when they get into an SDR or BDR role, aren't really hoping to be an SDR or BDR for that long. The most fulfilling and highest paying sales are when you're actually closing the deals as an account executive. So although an SDR or BDR is an entry-level position, the end goal of that role is to overperform in that role and ideally get a promotion to a role where you can make serious money and actually probably have a lot more fun. Being rejected over and over again on cold calls and cold emails, it gets tiring very quickly. So you're gonna wanna make sure you're either getting promoted to a manager, account executive, or move to another department as soon as possible. And we actually produced another resource and video that's gonna teach you exactly how to do that right over here. Sales glossary. There are a lot of different terms and terminology that's used in the world of sales that you might not understand right away. So we're going to quickly run through some of the most commonly used terms and acronyms that you might get exposed to in sales, so you can know what these mean and not have to pretend you know what they mean by nodding and smiling on your first day on the job. First term, pipeline.
Pipeline is essentially the process for how you're tracking customers from meeting booked all the way to deal won. Quota.
This is the number that you are measured against for your performance. It will also be the number that determines how much you get paid in a sales role. Typically, this is measured as a percentage to quota. So if your quota is book 10 meetings a month and I book 5 meetings, I am 50% to quota and I'm probably in danger of being fired. Prospecting.
Prospecting is the activity reaching out to potential prospects to ideally book a meeting and win a deal. This can be done through various channels, but typically cold calling and cold emailing. Lead.
A lead is, well, it depends who you ask what a lead is. A lead is someone who is potentially a good fit for your organization. You can have warm leads who are showing some interest or raise their hand to learn more about your solution. You can have cold leads who have no idea who you are but look like a good fit to reach out to. Conversion rate.
So conversion rate can apply to a lot of different things, but some typical examples are what percentage of people are you converting from your cold calls to meetings booked, or cold emails to meetings booked, and then from meetings booked to qualified opportunities, or conversion rate from qualified opportunity to deal won. Churn rate.
Churn rate is more of a customer success term, but it generally refers to how many customers that you close end up remaining with your business. So if you have a high churn rate, that means that a lot of customers who sign on for your product or service end up leaving your company within a year. So having a high churn rate is often a sign that your product isn't very good and probably isn't worth selling. Cold calling.
Yeah, I define a cold call as a call to any prospect who was not expecting that call. B2B.
So B2B means business to business. It means that the transaction is happening between a business and another business. This is different from B2C, which means business to consumer or customer. So B2C products would be things like things you buy at the supermarket or car sales, while B2B sales means that you're often selling a service or software or product to another business, and they're often much larger deal sizes. Buyer persona.
So buyer persona entails a lot of things, from the typical job title of the people you're reaching out to the company size, to all the attributes about a company or a particular person within a company that tells you they are potentially a good fit for your solution. Gatekeeper.
A gatekeeper is generally someone who blocks you from reaching the ideal persona that you want to be reaching out to. So that could be someone who is a lower level person in the organization who is preventing you from reaching the higher target customer that you're trying to reach to, or potentially someone who picks up the phone call like a receptionist or switch desk operator who prevents you from reaching the ideal customer that you really do want to be talking to. These people often don't have any power and are actually there to block you from reaching the people you are hoping to get to, because those people don't have unlimited times. They often employ gatekeepers to delegate tasks down to and prevent people from reaching them. Decision maker.
Decision maker is the person within a company who has the decision-making power to essentially purchase your solution. These are the main people you want to be booking meetings with and the main people you want to have in your calls to close a deal. If you do not have a decision maker in your deal process on your call, then you're going to have a really tough time closing that deal. SQL.
SQL stands for Sales Qualified Lead. This means that the sales team are accepting that as someone who looks like a good fit, and oftentimes that comes down to, are they the right persona? Do they work for the right type of company? Do they have the right tech stack and those types of things? If they're qualified as a sales qualified lead, that means they've been accepted from the marketing team or a meeting has been booked with them. This is different from an SQO, which is a sales qualified opportunity, which means that someone, often an account executive, has determined there is actually opportunity for there to be a deal to be had with that company or customer. MQL.
MQL doesn't have an objective definition.
That's shit.
Yeah, there oftentimes is, it's going to be different company to company, but what it stands for is marketing qualified lead. And usually what this means is a lead that has shown some level of interest. So this could be something like they downloaded a lead magnet of yours, a PDF, they joined a webinar. It could be a demo request or like a straight up hand raiser that requested more information. So they have different levels of intent, but essentially it means that marketing has qualified them as a lead to pass over to sales. KPI.
KPI is a key performance indicator. These are the metrics that you're going to be measured on outside of your quota, essentially. So these are going to be things like activity metrics. How many calls did you make? How many emails did you send? How long were you on the phone with those customers who you called? These are often indicators of how well you're going to be doing at quota. So higher KPIs generally, if you have a good enough conversion rate, is going to mean that you lead to a better quota. These are ways that managers can micromanage you and determine if you're doing a good enough job and putting the right inputs into your role to get the right outputs, which are booked meetings and closed deals. Sales methodology.
Sales methodology is the process you use to qualify leads, to negotiate, to close deals, etc. It's pretty much the process that you use during the sales process. Now there's a lot of sales methodologies out there and each company uses a different one. Sometimes they don't use one at all, but some common ones that you might want to learn about are Sandler sales or Sandler selling, Medic or MedPick, and then Challenger sales, another really popular one. Objection handling.
Oftentimes when you're cold emailing or more often cold calling someone, they're going to have objections to wanting to meet with you or show any kind of interest in your product. Objection handling is how you essentially handle those objections as and when they come up. So if someone says they're not interested, the way in which you respond to that is objection handling. If someone says they don't have budget, the way in which you respond to that would be a different type of objection handling. So objection handling is a key skill for anyone making cold calls, but also cold emails, because people do tend to respond to cold emails with objections as well. So those are the kind of key basics you need to kind of hit the ground running and the things that people might be talking about in your sales role as and when you do start working in sales.
So aside from everything we've told you, one of the most important ways to get better at sales is to A, put in effort, B, be open to feedback and coaching, and C, always be looking for ways to learn. Sell Better is a great resource. We run daily shows, we have courses just like this, and tons of free guides and free content to help you improve your sales game.
Keep it real out there. Good luck, seller. You're gonna need it.